Hi, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So I just really wanted to make a really quick video because it's a half-formed thought. It's not fully formed at all in the slightest yet. But I wanted to talk about like audacity, audaciousness. So I just made a video about some fucking rep that got really angry at me because I was not giving him what he wanted, and some really fucking sleazy massage guy that was like clearly getting sexual gratification from massaging me when I paid him, which I think is fucking audacious, and how I was incapable of setting very strong boundaries at that time and saying, hey, the fuck, like, no. And I'm going to put the video, there's two of them, I'm going to put them up here in case you want to see what the fuck that's about. But it made me think about this. Okay, so as a woman, I have always made a decision in my life and been very clear that I never ever wanted to be one of those girls who were like, just because, I'm pretty and I'm smart and I've got a lot of gifts, right? And there's a lot that men find appealing about me, clearly, because I have to deal with it all the time, which is like, a blessing and a curse or whatever, right? I'm not going to get into all of that, but I never wanted to be one of those girls who was like, oh, you wish, please, you think you could ever get with me? Like, I never wanted to be that girl. So I've always tried to be really humble and have show a lot of humility to these men. I think there's a constant flux of men who are trying to get my attention. Yeah, whatever. But they're really just trying to get my attention so that they can sleep with me. There's no one's giving me fucking marriage proposals. Do you know what I mean? I'm still single and 40 with 2 kids. So clearly, it's not that deep. It's just that they want to fuck, right? But still, for some reason, feel like I owe these guys like a debt of gratitude, and to be like humble enough to just be really nice and really kind and all the rest of it. Yeah. But actually what happens is that more time that just leaves me in a position where I'm getting fucked. And I don't mean physically, I mean metaphorically fucked, right? But still fucked nonetheless. Like, I'm getting fucked by these guys. Like, they are disrespecting me. They are using me for their own gratification. They are treating me like I'm a piece of meat. They are not showing respect for who I am. And it's because I want to be too fucking nice. Like, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. I don't want them to feel awkward. I don't want them to feel lesser. So I'm so fucking nice that I feel uncomfortable and I feel awkward and I feel lesser. No, sorry, tiny 5'4" man who's probably wearing Kids Gap. No, I don't want to sleep with you. And no, sorry, creepy fucking massage guy who's like labored breathing in my ear, like keeps me up at night. No, funnily enough, like, no, I don't want to sleep with you. And no, sorry, 40-year-old club rep with like flecks of grey in your hair who works at like one of the most budget hotels that we could find in Turkey and lives with 4, I repeat, 4 of his colleagues in a 2-bedroom apartment. No, funnily enough, I don't want to sleep with you. And it just hit me the other day. I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You believe yourself to be high value, right? But then treat these like random guys who you would never look at, never, that are not the caliber of man that you think is good enough for you, but you're treating them like they're higher caliber than you are. Right? And I think it's something to do with the fact that I was always taught not to have any kind of like bombacity, like any kind of audacity, yeah, as a child. And for me, audacity was always like, oh, you think you have the audacity to say that? You think you have the audacity to do that? Like, this is like what I was taught as my, particularly from my mum, like about basically everything in my life. She was like that. Well, that's just absolute audacity. How dare you be actually smarter than other people? That's the audacity. How dare you have a talent that other people don't have? How dare you show people that talent? The audacity of that, Francisca. This is like what I've been taught. And it just made me think, you know what, like, is there not a need to be audacious? Like, should I not be audacious about how I respect myself and my space and my worth? Should I not be audacious about that? Should I not be audacious about the caliber of man that I think can fucking talk to me, that I think has the it's not even about the right, it's just it is that thing of like, do you really think that you can talk to me? Like, do you really think that you can get me? Like, and I don't think it's about necessarily being rude. It's about being audacious enough to have that fucking self-empowerment, to have that self-confidence. Like, should I not be audacious about the talents that I've been given? Like, or should I just shrink away all the time and be a shrinking violet and let other people have the limelight that are not as talented as me? It's like, I sang karaoke the other day, and if you knew, yeah, the amount of internal turmoil that I am in singing a bit of fucking karaoke, like, and it is because I feel like I should not and I do not deserve that. It is audacious of me to think that I deserve to have and use this talent. And it's like, I didn't do anything for this talent. I didn't give it to myself. I didn't bless myself with this thing. This was fucking given to me as a gift, as a gift. But yet somehow I feel like it is an audacious thing for me to take that gift and share it with the world, to take that gift and show people I can sing better than you. I'm always like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm very sorry that like I can sing better than you and you haven't been given this gift. So I'm only going to do it just like sometimes because I know it makes everybody else feel uncomfortable. Like, and I'm like that with everything, like with everything. And I just feel like, particularly with guys, right? Because this is where this is all stemming from. I feel like, okay, I want to meet somebody, right? That is the truth. I'm not out there like actively trying to seek somebody or whatever else because I really don't feel like that works, right? Um, and I'm not like sending out good vibes. Just gonna send out good vibes, and my guy's just gonna come. But also, what I'm not doing is I'm not having a very clear expectation about what I feel is good enough for myself, and I'm not being audacious in that expectation at all. And it's like, how am I going to put out into the world that there is a particular caliber of man, and only that particular caliber of man will be good enough for me to come off my high horse, yeah, in order to come down and meet, in order to give time to. Like, how can I put that out if I'm trying to be this kind of fake humble, this fake humility that isn't fake as in like it's disingenuous, but fake as in like this isn't really truly how I feel. This isn't the truth. It's not the truth. So how am I putting that energy out? It's confused. So no wonder I'm not being brought anybody that is of the standard that I feel like I deserve as a woman. No wonder I've been single for like nearly 4 years. I'm basically like a born again virgin. That's cool. I'm good with that, right? Like I'm very happy with that. Like, but how am I going to meet somebody who I feel is good enough to give that to if I'm just constantly lowering my own standards and not having boundaries and not being audacious enough to say, no, actually, that's not good enough. Sorry. Um, yeah. Like I said, it's like a half-formed thought because I don't really know what the other half of that is. Other than to just say, like, I think one of the biggest things that I'm looking for is trust, and I want to feel safe. Like, so when I talk about like a caliber of a man, I'm not talking about like, oh, he's got to be really good looking and he's got to be super rich and he's got to buy me loads of gifts. Like, yeah, I want those things for sure. Like, I want a man who I feel exceptionally attracted to and who has a stable income and an abundance of finances for sure, and who is generous and therefore in that generosity will buy me things. Yes. But I also want a man who is like emotionally stable and whose like internal systems are clear, who's done the same amount of work as me, like on themselves, the same kind of energetical work that I've done on myself. Someone who is intelligent but is funny and still has the joy of a fucking child like inside of them. I want someone who challenges me. I want someone who is literally like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Like, you need to look at yourself there, mate. Like, I want someone who inspires me. Like, I want someone who leads me. Like, I always say, if I can find a man who has enough about them to lead me, right, to lead me, and I'm like ridiculously independent, like, and formidable. I always get told that I'm formidable. So, if I can find a man who can lead me, who I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm gonna follow you. I want to follow you. Then that's the guy for me, for sure. And yet, empathetic and sweet and deep and cultured and all of those other things. Um, but I think at the core of it all, someone who makes me feel safe, because I do not feel safe with men in that way. Like friendships, platonic, yeah, whatever, of course, man, very safe. Anything sexual? Not safe at all. You're a danger to me, definitely. But I think that's the whole point of this, is that there's a level of like me feeling unsafe because men have done things that have been dangerous and harmful to me. And I see the intention of them wanting to do dangerous and harmful things to me if I give them the chance. But also the other side of that is that I feel unsafe because I'm not making myself safe. Okay. I think that's it for that half-formed thought. So let's see, something that I feel grateful for. I feel grateful that something has been like evoked in me to not care so much about whether I'm a nice person, whether I'm being a good girl, whether I'm making other people feel uncomfortable. But actually, I'm really grateful that I want and expect more from myself in this particular way. And that feels very empowering. And I think that there's going to be a need for me to be careful in this transition, because a lot of the time when we decide we're done with something, like, so for example, before I never ever used to speak ever, like ever. I would not say anything to anybody because I came from a household where that would literally mean death. Like, you would be cast out, you'd be ostracized, you'd be banished. Like, from everything to do with the family, from your entire like the source of everything, right? So I was too scared to say anything to anybody about anything. And I got to about 30 and I was like, done with this because I was with my ex and he was like taking the absolute fucking piss, basically, because he knew I was too scared to speak up. And I went from not saying anything, like, woo, like way over here, to like being like a maniac, like, don't you fucking tell me. Like it was a little crazy, right? And I think that, that is what happens. We do pendulum from this extreme, especially if it's been an extreme, we pendulum to the other extreme because we need to know how far we don't want to go. Like we need to go as far as we're like, oh, okay, it's a little bit too far. Probably shouldn't have said that. Whoops. So let me just come back to somewhere that's kind of like normal. And I think there's a way of like doing that healthily, especially if like you're aware of it. So I am aware that at the moment I'm probably going to pendulum to being like, don't you fucking talk to me and spitting at guys and stuff. I don't want to do that. So I just think like just being aware of it, hopefully will stop it being like completely extreme. But I also know that is a process that I need to go through so that I can be comfortable and balanced in what it looks like for me to have a little bit more audacity around how I'm treated and who I entertain in that kind of respect. So anyway, yes, that is all.